As the cost of living crisis worsens, debt referrals to bailiffs by councils in England and Wales have increased by 20% last year compared.
But an even bigger problem nowadays is council tax debt. Local authorities are often resorting to bailiffs.
The National Deadline and Citizens Advice have both seen a rise in complaints about bailiffs using intimidation and even breaking the law to get people to hand over money.
Across the country, families are living in fear. One missed payment and before you know it, a dreaded knock at the door.
In England and Wales, $7 billion is owed in council tax debt, and that number is rising. For families already struggling with the cost of living, a small debt can explode overnight from £100 to hundreds more, or even a whole year's bill in one go.
Private bailiff companies are cashing in on this crisis, taking belongings and piling on more fees, threats and worry.
Is there any difference in the way you work between can't pay or won't pay?
That's not my business.
The rules are broken in 1 in every 3 of these visits by bailiffs, and when they come knocking, damage is done to our well-being, to our lives, to our communities.
A few years ago, I was a childminder then, and there was a knock at the door. I was quite surprised because there was a bailiff at the door. So I asked them what they wanted, and they said they're here to collect council tax. I paid my council tax bill later than the due date, so because of that, I had to pay the bill for the rest of the year. So I said, I do not have the money to pay the rest of the bill. So I asked the options. They said, well, they can imprison you. They can either seize my goods in my house, my television, the kids' toys, which they used at the time to play. They can seize your car. I asked for an installment plan. They said no. It has been a few years now, and each time I think of this, it affects me.
So my name's Niall, and I fell into council tax debt about a year ago. I was going through a period where I was really struggling with my mental health. I'd gone to the point where I was struggling to keep up with my emails, I was struggling to open posts. And in amongst all of that, you know, from what was only a couple bad weeks, it turns out that I'd actually then missed a council tax increase. I didn't realise, I didn't see it, and therefore didn't increase for direct debit. And because I'd previously been in council tax debt, they immediately escalated it straight to the courts. You know, so what was previously just, 20, 40, 50 quid, quickly escalated actually into hundreds between, the legal costs, the court dates, and then eventually my council tax debt was passed over to a bailiff company. Now, the first time I saw it was bailiffs were being involved, and I got a letter through the door saying actually bailiffs are going to come at this date. And I tell you now, that was absolutely terrifying. You feel so alone with it all. Who are you meant to go to for help with that? Absolutely no one should have to face that. Nobody should have to face bullies being sent to their door, which is really what it is, to try and demand debt and demand money from you.
But it doesn't have to be this way. ACORN is fighting for a fairer system, campaigning on these 6 necessary changes.
1. End the use of bailiffs to collect council tax debt. In the short term, make sure bailiffs are kept in check by a regulator with legal teeth.
2. End imprisonment for council tax debt.
3. Cap liability order fees, the unfair charges that are added on for court orders, deepening debt.
4. Give people more time before court action.
5. Create a national pre-action protocol, fair treatment and support before enforcement action is taken, wherever you live.
6. Replace unfair and ineffective council tax with a proportional property tax that works for everyone. Join the movement for a Bailiff Free Britain. Together,
Together,
we can win something that we all deserve. Dignity, not debt.